Hello and welcome to Online Appliance Tech. Today we're working on an LG dryer that will not start. So as you can see, once I press the power button and the start button, nothing happens. So the first thing you would want to do is open the door and spin the drum. If the drum spins smooth with a little tension, it means the belt's connected. But if it's super fast or say no resistance, that means your belt is probably off, which will not start the dryer. So unplug the dryer and we're going to remove the back panel. And this is something I noticed too, the ductwork was kinked. If the ductwork is kinked, it will not allow the airflow to get out the dryer and will put a lot of stress on the dryer. So that's definitely one thing to look at and fix if you have to fix. So you have the 3 screws in the back. To remove these screws, you would need a Phillips head screwdriver or a bit. In this video, I actually removed the top ones also, but you only have to remove the bottom ones and press the top lid backwards. And there's one that I missed, as you'll see here in a minute, right there. So there are actually 4. So yeah, just remove the bottom 4 and then press the lid back. Press back and lift straight up. Okay. So as we can see, the belt is on, so that's not the issue as it has tension. Open the door and you'll see 2 little plastic covers that covers the Phillips screws that hold the front door to the housing. So you have 4 screws that hold the front door to the housing, 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. These screws are different, so make sure to keep them separate. Sorry for the bad camera angle, but you have 2 screws on the left and the right. Remove them. Now use a flathead to release the clips that holds the front door to the top housing support. Just take your time and be gentle. Okay, so the door will just pull forward, and then you go remove the wire and harness that goes into the housing, which connects to the main control board, and also the door switch assembly. Now you can just pull the door forward and lift straight up. Now this wiring harness, you want to press the clips in on the top and the bottom as you press in with your finger. There we go. Disconnect the dryer sensor harness, and then we're going to remove the 4 Phillips screws. And actually that is 6, 3 on each side. Lift up on the top housing support, place somewhere safe. Disconnect the wiring from the front housing support. You can use a pair of needle nose to kind of pry them together and press out. This one gave me a little bit of a struggle. One thing I do not want to do is break it. Disconnect the door light. Okay, for the drum housing support, you'll just go straight up, disconnect from the side housing, and pull out. You can see how they're clipped in. Now we're going to disconnect the belt from the idler pulley and motor pulley. So you're going to pull the pulley back and disconnect it from the motor pulley. And just release. An easy way to remove the drum is to lift up on the belt and slide it straight out. So most of the time when you have a dryer that does not start the motor at all, it is the fuse, the thermal fuse, that cuts off the motor, and I'll show you here in a minute. In a way, it's like a high limit fuse. So this is the only fuse that will turn off the motor. Any other fuse that breaks, it just won't heat, but the motor will turn. That's the flame sensor, that's not it, but here is the fuse. This is how the dryer works. The heat comes in, removes the heat, the blower wheel presses the airflow out. So if the air can't get out the house, it presses it back and then blows the fuse. As you can see on the left, actually this is the fuse. The fuse tested good, but that would be the one you would replace if it was bad. But this motor had an open line, a burnt arc line that goes into the overload. So obviously if the overload is not connected, the motor will not start. However, most of the time it is the fuse that's the problem. So if you do have a multimeter, you could check it. If it reads open line, it's bad. But also check out to make sure you have no open or burnt wire that connects to the overload, which is connected to the motor. So this is a pretty simple fix. Actually, it'll save you some money. Just strip the wire so you have some copper showing. Just take your time, because if you cut it too much, then obviously you have to cut back even more, and you don't have much wire to play around with. Another tip for the fuse, if you take the fuse out and you shake it and it kind of shakes, I guess you would say it's good, but if it does not shake, it's bad, and just replace the fuse. But if the fuse is good, it's going to be your motor, and usually it's this wire. So once I get the wire stripped down where the copper is shown, I want to replace the connector. So once you get the connector on there, make sure that it does not slide off, and then squeeze with a pair of pliers. Make sure it's fairly tight. So check, pull on it a little bit, make sure it's not going to pop off, and then connect it back to the overload. A lot of times the overload will pop if the dryer pulls some type of amp draw. So there we go, everything's connected. So now I'm going to check and make sure the overload is not, or basically doesn't have an open line where power cannot transfer through it. So I'm just going to check continuity from point A to B. So as you can see, I have no problems there. So current can flow. So now let's put the dryer back together. Just slide in the drum the same way you took it out. You can use the belt to guide you if you like. What I like to do is I like to kind of lift the drum up and turn the drum clockwise until it connects into the bottom two wheels in the back. That way we know our felt's aligned. Then slide the belt on, line it up, and make sure the belt is not twisted. If the belt is twisted when you connect it to the dryer, it will pop off and you will have to take the whole dryer apart again. So make sure it's not twisted before you connect it to the idler pulley and motor pulley. So to connect this is kind of a weird angle, but I'm going to do this with one hand to kind of give you a better view. We'll try. You're going to pull the motor pulley, idler pulley back, and then the belt will come over top of it, and you pull the pulley back, and then you connect it to the motor pulley. It's easier if you do it with two hands, obviously, but I'm just trying to show you what's going on. And a good way to test it once you get everything connected is just turn the drum with your hand and make sure the blower wheel at the top or the front is turning with the drum. So this is how I would do it if I didn't have to show you what was going on. I would use two hands, take my left hand to pull the pulley back, and use my right hand to adjust the belt. It's way easier that way. So let's connect the front housing, drum housing. Make sure you place the 3 wheels underneath the felt first, and then pull up on the housing and connect to the side of the dryer in its clips. Connect the top 2 first, and then you can turn the drum and it'll re-align with the wheels and just pop into place, and then you can pop the other 2 in. Turn the drum again to make sure everything's aligned, and there you go. Connect the dryer sensor. Reconnect the 4 Phillips screws. Okay, let's reconnect the top housing frame. As you can see, it just kind of slides into the main housing of the dryer. Try to line up your wiring first before you clip it onto the dryer. Make sure your door switch is out, and obviously you have to make sure the light harness is connected. Clip it back into the housing. So everything looks good there. And this is the light switch. You got to make sure that it's connected. So we're going to tighten this down with the Phillips screws. Make sure to do the top one and the bottom one. The bottom one is for the front door. Actually, not on this one. I take that back. So at the bottom of the door you have 3 grooves that clicks into the bottom housing. So once you slide that in to place, you'll just press the dryer forward enough to connect the door switch, and the harness that connects to the main control board. You'll just press the door forward and it will click right into place, and you can let go because it actually holds itself. Then you got to connect the 2 Phillips screws on the right and the left. Okay, so let's open the door, and remember these screws, they have to be, you have to remember which ones go where, because the 2 at the top are different than the bottom. So reinstall the 4 Phillips screws. plug back in your dryer and test it at first with the top off so you can make sure everything is aligned. Obviously that's something we have to fix too. Press start, there we go. Now the dryer motor is working. So great, I really hope this video helped you and saved you some money. And just on the top, just kind of slide it into place. It slides forward, as you can see. You just have to kind of play around with it a little bit. And this is the support frame that connects the top to the back of the dryer. Like I said, you don't have to take the whole thing off like I just did. You just have to take the bottom four, and then when you slide the top off, this support that I'm installing now will just stay on. It'll be simpler that way. Okay, great. So like I said, I hope this video helped. Please like and subscribe for more future tips and videos. If you have any questions or comments, just please leave in comments below. I will leave a link in description below for the fuse if needed and motor if needed. Thank you and have a good day.